Manchester United are preparing an €80 million bid for Araujo. Will Barca cave in again? Mourinho heading to Saudi Arabia. Is this actually happening? João Félix is packing his bags and flying to Brazil. Al-Hilal have their sights set on Bruno Fernandes, while Barca are ready to drop €40 million on Frimpong. Let's aim for 400 likes again. No, seriously. Even we're tired of asking, but hey, it's part of the game. You smash that like button and we pretend to know what we're talking about. Win-win. Now let's dive into rumours no one may need, but it's way more fun when we do it together. Manchester United have locked their radar on one of Barcelona's defensive pillars, Ronald Araujo, and they're ready to slap €80 million on the table for a centre-back. Then again, for United that's practically business as usual these days. Let's be honest, their backline this season is more revolving door than fortress. Own goals, lapses, chaos. They need someone to pour concrete in the middle, and the scouting room thinks Araujo is the messiah who'll tidy up the whole show. Word is somebody in the new-look football department, maybe the same old suits but with a sudden epiphany, can already picture the Uruguayan in red. Perfect fit, natural leader, exactly what the project's gasping for. And Araujo, he's no slouch. Joined Barca back in 2018, did his time with the B team, forced his way into the first 11 late 2020 and turned into a genuine rock at the back. This season though, has been choppy. First a hamstring tear, then the long rehab, and even after the comeback, he's not an automatic name on the team sheet. He's only 26, prime age, but his deal at Barca runs until summer 2031, basically a footballing lifetime. Who signed off on that? Now the plot twist. Barcelona's finances. We all know their cash flow is a roller coaster. On the one hand, Araujo is a cornerstone. Fans adore him. Coaches rely on him. On the other, 80 million doesn't exactly grow on Catalan trees these days. One sale, and the board could plug gaps, chase another target, even breathe a little easier. Pull the levers again? They're running out of levers. So the Barca execs are scratching their heads. Keep a beast of a defender or cash the check. My take? Araujo is elite. Strong, rapid, bull terrier mentality. He was born for the Premier League, but that patchy game time since the injury, is it a red flag? And United, well, they're masters of the splash first, fret later approach. If Araujo hits top form and stays fit, it could be a royally smart buy. Picture him next to Lisandro Martinez when Lisandro's healthy. Absolute brick wall. Speaking of injuries and consistency, unlike poor Araujo's hamstrings, the subscribe button never pulls up lame. One click and you never miss a story. Unsubscribe later and we'll call it a loan with no option to buy. Fair? Anyway, this saga hinges on a few massive ifs. Does Ronald really fancy swapping sunny Barcelona, where he's settled, for Manchester's famous drizzle? Can United convince him their project is a step up? And most crucially, how badly do Barca need those 80 big ones right now? Maybe they decide a player like this is literally worth more than money. So what do you reckon? Araujo in United red by August, or just another rumour to keep us talking? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm dying to know. Remember João Félix? Yeah, the kid Atletico once paid a king's ransom for. Then Chelsea thought, we'll have some of that sparkle too. Well, about that sparkle, London seems to have realised the gem's a little cloudy. Here's the situation in a nutshell. Felix is only 25, yet he's already ping-ponging around Europe. Chelsea grabbed him last summer with their eyes half shut and are now busy chewing on their sleeves. The lad never clicked, got shipped off on loan to Milan and, surprise, hasn't exactly torn Serie A to shreds. The Rossoneri are packing his bags for the return trip to Stamford Bridge, where, let's be honest, nobody's rolling out a red carpet. Word inside Cobham is, movie's over, sell the 25-year-old flop. Harsh quotes, but that's how brutal the leaks sound. Enter Flamengo. Yes, the Carnival Kings of Rio want a loan with an option to buy. Let us test drive him. If it clicks, we'll keep him. Chelsea. At this point, they'd probably agree to anything just to turn a liability back into an asset. Imagine Felix's headspace. A career that once looked interstellar, now drifting off course. West Ham are said to be sniffing. A mid-table reset button, perhaps. There's even talk of a romantic return to Benfica. Lovely storyline, sure. But can Benfica handle that salary? Probably another loan. How many more loans can one prodigy endure? Maybe Brazil isn't the crazy move it sounds. Seriously, step out of the European pressure cooker, land in a league where he can be the main man again, feel the joy, soak up Maracanã madness. Flamengo are South American royalty, their fans are electric. Could that be exactly what Felix needs? Pure belief and free-flowing minutes? Of course, his ambitions are surely still European. Trouble is, the continent's big guns now eye him with a raised eyebrow. Honestly, it's sad. The talent, the vision, the velvet technique, still all there, but something keeps misfiring. Sticker price pressure, wrong tactical fits, a bit of both? What's he gonna do? Dare to cross the Atlantic or cling to Europe till the very end, even if it means a step down the ladder? Sound off in the comments. Felix in Brazil, madness or masterstroke? Personally, it feels wild and wildly intriguing. Saudi Arabia is on the hunt for big game, again. Picture this. Al-Hilal, one of the kingdom's heavyweights, sacks Jorge Jesus and immediately aims for the José Mourinho. Of course, who else? Life's dull without press conference fireworks and touchline theatrics, right? Yep, you heard it correctly. Another Saudi flirtation with the special one. Last year, Al-Qadsiya tried. Before that, some eye-watering offer to coach the national team. Now it's apparently Al-Hilal's turn. Who's next? Al Madrid. At the moment, Jose is steering Fenerbahce, a Turkish soap opera in its own right. Pressure, politics, molten expectations. Will he really think, why not swap the Bosphorus for the desert, pocket a monster contract, and assemble my own retirement all-stars? Question is, does a club already stuffed with talent and ambition actually need that? Or do they crave a seismic shakeup to grab the title at any cost? On one hand, Mourinho means noise, trophies, aura, 26 major ones, including 2 Champions Leagues. On the other, he's volatility personified. If things go south, everyone else gets the blame, while he wins best leading charisma. And it isn't just more. Saudi chiefs are reportedly eyeing several Premier League managers. No confirmed shortlist yet, but the pattern's obvious. They want a blockbuster name and a headline finish. By the way, according to my analytics, some of you watch these videos more often than Al-Hilal change coaches. So, how about smashing that subscribe button? Or are we still playing transfer window spectator, showing up every time but never signing the contract? So here's the cliffhanger. Will Mourinho trek into the desert or stay in Turkey grilling on the fiery skewer of fan criticism? I wouldn't be shocked if the next Sheikh-level salesman turns out to be Cristiano Ronaldo. He can flog anything from boots to entire leagues. Your turn. Mourinho to Saudi. Masterstroke or another soap opera with no happy ending? Drop your takes in the comments. Hansi Flick and sporting director Deco aren't wasting any time. They're already deep into the transfer market search, looking for reinforcements. And guess who's at the very top of their wish list? That's right, Jeremy Frimpong from Bayer Leverkusen. Yeah, that lightning-fast Dutchman who tore up the Bundesliga last season, helping Xabi Alonso and his squad grab that historic league title. And make no mistake, Barca's interest here isn't coming out of thin air. Both Flick and Deco clearly see Frimpong as the ideal fit for the right-back position. And honestly, can you blame them? The guy's an absolute machine. Strength, ridiculous pace, non-stop movement up and down the flank, bombing forward like a madman, but still taking care of his defensive duties. A proper modern fullback, solid in the back, dangerous in attack. Exactly what the doctor ordered for Barca, especially given that, let's be real, the right-back spot has looked like Swiss cheese for quite a while now. From what it looks like, Flick isn't planning a full-blown squad revolution. He knows that Barca still has some serious depth in most areas. That's why any new signing has to be someone who genuinely raises the level of the starting 11. And right back, that's right at the top of the priority list. But of course, in classic Barca fashion, where there's honey, there's a huge spoonful of vinegar. The money situation, folks. The club's finances are, well, let's just say, far from ideal, which makes a move for Frimpong feel like advanced level difficulty, bordering on mission impossible. Question is, how are they planning to bring in a player like him without breaking the bank? Rumor has it, Frimpong already knows about Barca's interest, and he's supposedly open to the idea of trading Leverkusen for Catalonia. Bold move, if it happens. But for now, it's all still at the rumor stage. Zero official bids, no real negotiations going on. Barca's thinking of offering around 35 to 40 million euros, kind of testing the waters. But unless Frimpong's contract has some secret release clause written in fine print, Bayer will probably set a much higher asking price. And let's not forget, Barca's not the only horse in this race. It's safe to say there's a whole queue of top European clubs lining up for this guy. This is one of those classic cases. First come, highest bidder wins. Now here's the interesting part. If Barca can't land a right-back who's clearly better than what they already have, reports say Flick is ready to keep trusting the La Masia boys. You know the drill, the eternal Catalan mantra. We've got no money, but hey, let's raise the next superstar ourselves. Right now, Flick and Deco are focused on finishing the season strong, and only after that they'll dive headfirst into the summer transfer chaos. No rash decisions, just smart, surgical moves to strengthen areas that really need it. Honestly, this whole Frimpong saga sounds super exciting, but knowing Barca's financial reality, it's hard to see how it all works out. On one hand, Frimpong is fire and could really light it up at Camp Nou. On the other, where's that 40+ million euros gonna come from when every single euro needs to be accounted for? Is Joan Laporta about to pull another one of his so-called levers? So many questions. What do you guys think? Is Frimpong to Barca actually realistic, or just another sweet-sounding rumor for fans to dream about? Transfer circus around Manchester United's captain is back in town. And guess who's turned up with an open checkbook this time? Yep, Saudi heavyweights Al-Hilal. Remember those guys who tried to whisk Bruno Fernandes off to the desert last summer, oil money and all? Well, the Club World Cup kicks off on the 14th of June. And suddenly, they're desperate for a headline midfielder. So, on Monday, Bruno's agent and lawyer popped over to Al-Hilal HQ for a little coffee and dates meeting. Sounds promising, right? Except, they left without a single concrete offer on the table. Seriously, lads, is that your master plan? Nod politely, say, "We'll think about it," and hope United just gift wrap their star. Meanwhile, back in Manchester, the Reds have quietly made it clear the talisman is not for sale. And too right, let your captain walk today, and tomorrow you're fielding some championship wonder kid at the 10 spot. Ruben Amorim. He's already told the board he can't picture his new project without Bruno. Selling him would be like flogging the foundations of a house you've only just started building. Pure madness. And in case you forgot, last summer's flirtation with Al-Hilal ended with Bruno signing a fresh deal until 2027, plus a one-year option. So much for close to signing, eh? One more twist. Why do Al-Hilal suddenly have spare cash? Easy. Mohamed Salah decided to stick with Liverpool. No pharaoh, grab the next Premier League superstar instead. Genius logic. Key takeaway, right now it's all coffees and chit-chat, zero substance. But one thing's crystal clear, United won't surrender their skipper without a fight. Makes sense when you're dreaming of fighting your way back to the top. So, lads and ladies, should Bruno swap Manchester drizzle for desert heat? That's the big question. For now, expect to see the Devils captain in his usual red at Old Trafford. Unless, of course, some Saudi sheikh cooks up an offer too outrageous to refuse. Stay tuned.